Hello and welcome to the Z-Man Show, where we did it. 2020 is over. Oh my god, this was such a long year. Such a long year. The Sonic movie came out this year. Yes, we all had lots of fun, what with the not being able to leave our homes and playing lots of video games because of it. And as a result, the game industry did extremely well this year. Games like Animal Crossing New Horizons broke sales records, while other games that people didn't expect to do nearly as well sold extremely well. And honestly, it's not as if the games didn't deserve it. 2020 was a great year for quality video games that gave us great bang for our buck.
Even me?
No, not you. Go away. Go return yourself or something. So today we're going to look at the best of the best from this past year. And once again, I am going to limit it to 5 games because I still don't think I played enough games to make out a really good top 10 list. Come on, Zach, those are rookie numbers. Now, a few ground rules to start. First, they have to be games that came out this year. We're not pulling a Game Awards where we're handing out best mobile title to a game from 2018. Also, games that are remakes or re-releases have to be substantially different in order to get consideration. So, I'm sorry Persona 5 Royal, but you're not going to be considered for this list. Which is kind of funny, because if you were considered, you would be my Game of the Year. Congrats to Persona 5 Royal for almost being Game of the Year! Almost! And lastly, this is my personal list, so there are going to be games that I don't like as much as you did, or games that I haven't played or haven't played enough in order to give them a fair rating. So if you have an issue with my list, you know where to put them.
In the trash?
No, that's where you belong! Shouldn't you be returned to a Best Buy or something? No, you can leave them in the comments down below, and while you're down there, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon, because that's pretty important too, from what I've been told. Please. I have so few subscribers. I need this. Alright, I think that's just about everything, so without further ado, these are my top 5 favorite games of 2020. 5. Who remembers when we thought this game wasn't going to come out for another 2 to 3 years? Well, it exists. We live in a world where Final Fantasy VII Remake is able to be played, and with all the hype surrounding this remake, I can definitely say it left an impression. Right off the bat, I really liked the game, especially the ATB battle system that was implemented to be a hybrid of more modern action games and the time-based system of the original Final Fantasy VII. What's really impressive is how the game managed to make each character feel very different. Barret plays differently from Cloud, who plays differently from Aerith. The game is pretty visually impressive as well, for the most part. While many world textures are actually awful, character models and enemy designs are fantastic, and the music? Oh, it's just beautiful. So many of these classic Final Fantasy songs are arranged masterfully for orchestra, making bosses feel epic, and some of the new original songs are bopping as well. Now, of course, we have to talk about the story. Now, no spoilers, but there's a lot to dissect with this game. On the surface, it's a passable retelling of the Midgar section of Final Fantasy VII, but when you start to dig 1, 2, 3, even 4 levels deeper, things get insane quickly. Now, it wasn't handled the most gracefully and slightly dips into Kingdom Hearts level Nomura territory, but the promise of future shenanigans with this remake definitely had me thinking about this game for weeks after I played it, and helped make it one of my favorite games this year. 4. From the moment I saw the Ori series, I knew it was going to be one that I was really going to enjoy with its beautiful visuals and Metroidvania platforming gameplay. And while I enjoyed Ori and the Blind Forest, Will-O-the-Wisp took that game and refined it into a fantastic and absolutely gorgeous experience. From the very opening of this game, you could tell you're going to be in for a beautiful, emotional experience. And the game delivers that on every front. The visuals are breathtaking with fluid animations, incredibly cute character designs, and imposing boss characters that you dread facing. Probably the greatest improvement this game made was in its combat and save system. Ori's new repertoire of attacks and traversal abilities are greatly improved, making for a fun system to play as you're exploring the game's world. Plus, the brand new inclusion of a centralized town hub that you actively take part in fixing up adds extra motivation to explore every nook and cranny of the world. Now, is it the best Metroidvania game out there? No, there are still some upsetting examples of Ori not controlling the way I want them to control, and jumping in and out of menus, especially on last-gen console, presents weird hiccups, but the sense of scale and emotion the game presents more than outweigh the bad, and easily makes this one of my favorite games this year. 3. Everyone seems to absolutely love this game. It won the Player's Choice Award at the Game Awards, and I've already seen several lists name it as their Game of the Year. So why did it take me so long to get into it? It's weird, but for some reason it took me a long time to get into this game. I put it on the back burner in order to play more Hades. I put it on the back burner again in order to play Persona 5 Royal. The game just struggled to hold my attention for very long. But it should also be mentioned that unlike so many other games that I've started and never finished, I did come back to this one multiple times. Maybe it was because of the absolutely breathtaking visuals. The game's use of color, weather, and time of day bear for striking images, whether it's flowers against the snow, silhouettes against the fog at dawn, or walking through a field of flowers. Maybe it was the world design. What this game does with its player direction is incredible, utilizing a guiding wind, foxes, and birds to guide you rather than a minimap or a cluttered UI. But what I think actually failed to hold my attention for the most part was the combat. The parry attack and stealth systems are all good, but never in my time with the game did I feel frantic or back on my heels like I was for other games on this list. Interestingly enough, this game on PS5 was almost a revelation, as experiencing this combat with 60 FPS is highly recommended. And of course, there's the story that started slow but introduced me to characters and tales that left an impact. There were 2 specific tales towards the end of the game that brought me to the verge of tears. By the end of the game, this story of revenge, honor, and family really left an impression. Sucker Punch made a fantastic game, and it definitely deserves its place among the best games this year. 2. Okay, time for the controversial pick. Yes, I liked The Last of Us Part 2. Quite a lot as it would seem from this placement on this list. No, I did not like it as much as the first Last of Us, but that doesn't mean it's a bad game. I very much appreciate what Naughty Dog was doing with this game. And while many people take issue with an event very early in this game, and while I understand their argument, the argument can also be made that people change, especially after years of relative peace after wartime. In fact, the game made it a point to utilize flashbacks to show that change in certain characters. Many people take umbrage to a massive narrative shift at the halfway point of the game that sought to redeem a certain character, but I found it to be a powerful way to play a sort of perspective flip to the narrative, to show how characters can be 2 sides of the same coin. And of course, there are the people that say the gameplay is stuck in 2013. But I also think this game's upgrades to the visuals add to the stealth ambiance incredibly. The first time I took out a human enemy with a rear naked choke and turned the camera to see Ellie's expression kinda blew me away. And the first time I ran into an encounter I couldn't completely stealth my way through was enthralling. The frantic freedom this game's evasion gameplay allows is insane, and is honestly my favorite pure gameplay loop since Metal Gear Solid 5. I definitely understand that this game isn't a popular pick to enjoy, but it was right up my alley, and easily made for one of my favorite games this year. 1. Supergiant Games has been on my radar ever since I first played Transistor nearly 6 years ago. From there, I played what many consider to be their best game, Bastion, and their follow-up to both of them, Pyre. Every one of Supergiant's games bursts with quality, from the isometric view to the gorgeous art to the godly soundtracks. Obviously, anything Supergiant put out was something that I needed to play. Then, in 2018 at the Game Awards, Supergiant's next project was announced for early access, I rushed to download it and played it for a few hours before putting it down and forgetting about it. Flash forward 2 years and Hades finally hit 1.0 full release. My first thought was, oh yeah, that was a pretty fun game that I definitely meant to get back to. Maybe now's the right time. Hades feels like the culmination of all that Supergiant learned in their previous outings. The art is beautiful, and the portraits of the Greek gods are all just so hot. And the music. Darren Korb is a genius. Seriously, if Darren Korb is watching this, or if somebody that knows him shows him this, just know I love your music. Like, all of it. My god, it's so good. But where the game really shines is its marriage of gameplay and story. It's impressive how the roguelite elements of this game are folded into the overall story of Zagreus trying to escape the underworld, and every success leads to more and more bits of the story. And the actual gameplay is absolutely fantastic. Each run feels vastly different depending on which weapon you choose, which godly power you're offered, and which characters you run into. And the gameplay is fast, frantic, edge-of-your-seat fun, especially in the boss fights. It's rare that you play a boss fight where you get so close to beating it only to lose and go back to the very beginning, but you just have this itch to go and try again. It's incredible game design. I honestly struggle to find many flaws beyond maybe the slight lack of variety in the enemies and areas, but it's also a roguelite that you're designed to beat many times to fully experience the story. The entire package of Hades is honestly an amazing one. And that's what makes it my game of the year. So those were my favorite games of the past year, and I'm sure you've got thoughts on the list, and that's what the comments are for. So please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you thought. What did I miss? What games do I need to play next year that I missed out on this year? And of course, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you're notified of future Z-Man Show videos. Like one I'm going to be doing very soon about the most anticipated games for 2021. It's exciting, right? Thank you so very much for watching. We'll see you next time.
You know I'm getting a patch soon, right?
Oh my god, get the fuck out of here!